Hello guys, this is Ty, aka the Flip Man. Today's video, how to wholesale lease options and options. Before I get into the video, make sure you take advantage of the 100 plus videos I have here on YouTube at howtofliphouses.net. You can go there in your browser to go directly to the channel. I created that particular URL so you could makes it easy for anyone to access the 100 plus free videos that I offer. If those videos are not enough and you need a coach along with courses, you can go to junkers101.com. That's junkers101.com. You can get the wholesaling houses and wholesaling apartments courses, but really what you're paying for is access to me and my many years of wholesaling real estate and just real estate investing in general. But on to the video. Wholesaling. Obviously, if you're here, you know that's my thing. You know that's what I do. That's what I offer. The normal wholesale transaction involves you finding a property at a huge discount, taking in consideration the repairs and where it's located, and you basically place it under contract and assigning it over to a cash buyer. Okay, if any of you all have done any degree of marketing and speaking to a number of sellers, whether they're motivated or not, you understand it is a numbers game, and the majority of the people that you speak with, they're not going to be deals. You speak to 100 people in a month and only 3 or 4 of those are deals. Now that may mean 15, 20 grand later, but there's still a lot of opportunities that could possibly be left on the table for you. Now, what I mean by that is simply some of those deals where the person just simply wants too much, which is going to be the majority of them. They're just going to be more than what you need to wholesale a deal. Here comes an opportunity for a lease option. Now, lease options can be done where you are still a part of the transaction and you're basically collecting an upfront fee from the tenant buyer, and they're making a monthly payment just above whatever the mortgage payment may be on the property or whatever you negotiated with the seller. For instance, the payment may be $800, but you're collecting $950 from the tenant buyer and they gave you $5,000 down. That's if you want to continue to be a part of the deal. My personality and my lack of organization doesn't allow for those to turn out well in a lot of cases for me. So to be a little creative, not that I invented this, I'm not sure where someone said, hey, you can't do this also. You can wholesale those terms as far as a lease option. And what I simply mean by that, you set up that same deal where the mortgage payment on the house is $800 and the actual owner of the property, for whatever reason, you've negotiated, they just want out. They just want that relief. They prefer that the property be paid off, but as of today, it's more important for that $800 to be a relief from their current financial situation, whether they're able to make the payment or they're already behind in payments. So here comes the lease option opportunity, which you can do a subject to also, but it's a little bit more complicated. But a lease option is something that you can do in one day. You can have a seller and a buyer all in the same day in reality, depending on what type of list you built over time. But with that being said, so assuming that you have the seller, they're willing to do the lease option. Their payment is $800. Okay, so you say, here's an opportunity. I can get control of this property with just this agreement, a lease with an option to purchase. So what you'll do, you'll go ahead, and I wouldn't actually go into the agreement until I actually found the buyer. But what you want, the things that, and now there's a lot of flexibility here, but the things that that'll be ideal is that either the house is livable and doesn't need that many repairs, or it's in a really great neighborhood and may need some repairs, and you can still wholesale it. But you can go beyond that scope there, but I'm just trying to simplify for the sake of this video and the time that I have. So assuming that the property is livable and in a pretty decent and attractive neighborhood for whatever reason, just maybe simple school zone reasons. Okay, so what you'll do is, as I said, the property is vacant, and you know you can place this property on a contract with the seller for with the lease option agreement. So you may not actually pull the trigger on the lease option with the seller. What you may do is, and this is where I normally will try to do it, I'll actually get me someone that's ready to go on the buyer side before I actually enter into the agreement with the seller. So assuming you have your buyer ready to go, they may want to give you $5,000, $7,500, maybe $10,000 down as far as being able to allow you to assign the property over. So what you have to take in consideration is, number one, I said the payment, how many payments they're behind, what's the balance on the property. Those are going to be the most important things. Now, you'll need to gain some type of authorization from the seller, which, there are forms to do that, which I have all of that for the entire process. But once you get everything you need as far as your checklist, then the transaction is simple at that point. So what you'll do is you'll actually enter into the agreement with the seller, or you could just allow them to go straight to the seller from the buyer. But I would encourage you to enter into the agreement with the seller, with them knowing you want to be totally upfront with them on what you're doing. You're just solving their problem. If they don't want to do it the way you want to do it, don't try to convince them. They need to be like, they may have a few questions, but they need to be like, yeah, that sounds good to me. You're going to solve my problem. You don't want to try to convince them. Those will turn out in a lot of cases where you end up in court. You don't want to do it that way. They need to be motivated like you were God sent to solve their problem on this unwanted house, or this house they can't afford, or is dragging down their finances, or potentially dragging down their finances with a foreclosure. So you want to make sure that this person is on board with no problems. So that being said, so you're into the agreement lease option, and basically, as I said, you're going to assign your position over to the actual tenant buyer that's going to live in there, or it may even be an investor, but normally it's going to be someone that wants to live there. Boom, quick $500, $7,500, $10,000. It's actually easier than a normal wholesale transaction because you don't go through the actual process of closing on the property or anything. You just have the proper paperwork, and bam, that's it. Now, the other side of that, that's a lease option. Now, you may have set up where you picked up a property just through an option, and basically that means is that you give them a fee in order to control the property for a payment, we'll say 3 months, 6 months, maybe even 12 months down the road. Sometimes you can negotiate those that you don't have to make any payments in between the time that you're supposed to close on it, or you may agree to make some payments every month, maybe every quarter, depending on the length of the option. You can wholesale the options also. Basically, you're going to go through the same process. Now, some of those, most of those will be opportunities that you set up those types of terms that you can wholesale to a actual investor. Because basically what you're going to be able to do is the seller's giving you control over the property for whatever time frame, as I said, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is. You may give them a $2,000 fee to control the property. So you put this in place, but you may wholesale it to a cash buyer, who knows, for $10,000, to take that same position, because the property may be worth $100,000, but just needs a lot of work. And so, in essence, the buyer doesn't have to put a lot of money into it as far as purchase, paying you, closing costs. They can just get control of the property and then fix it and then close it out 3, 6, 12 months later. So those are opportunities that you can wholesale also. A little winded on this video. It's a little complicated. Students, you're already on board. Just let me know. I'll send you the forms on how to do something like this. Non-students, they're out there. I'm just giving you a tip here But if you want to come on board, obviously you can go to, as I said, junkers101.com and sign up. I'll be happy to work with you on this type of deal and others. But don't forget also howtofliphouses.net to take advantage of the 100 plus videos I have here online. Thanks, and I hope this tip helps.